Are we qualified to do this?
I don't know. We've both made hundreds of YouTube videos, so I'd
We
say so.
we are controversial by nature anyway. So this is hello everyone. Welcome to the NAC 2024 preview video. We have predicted all of the podiums for all of the events, and we've also predicted 3x3 finals and each ranking. So let's get started. I don't think there's really any reason to delay here. So this is Will Clower. He's the director of analysis at Clicky Studios, and we have each pulled together what we think will be the podium for NAC, and then we're gonna combine them together to make one Clicky Studios official prediction. So let's get started. Will,
Let's get it.
want to introduce yourself maybe a little bit before we get started?
I work here.
I was really expecting you to like ramble like, "Hi, I'm Will Clower. I've been doing Skewb for 8 years." And I just like cut you off like saying we don't have time for that. But we don't have time for that. So let's get started with square one. So who wants to go first?
I can go first. So I actually did not play the psych sheet game to its fullest, and I do not have Mr. Bombach on my podium prediction.
Really?
It would be great if he does, but my prediction is going to be Hassan in third. Obviously, he's got the second best average in the world, but he does get nervous, as we all do, and I think his lockups are definitely a bit more unlucky than others from what I've seen. But I still think he'll be able to make the podium at the very least. Then I have Max Joe, world record holder. You never know what could happen, especially in the North American Championships finals. While he's a very, very consistent solver, do you think Samir has a pretty good shot? I think it is definitely a very realistic possibility.
I played the psych sheet game in this one a lot. I think NAC is a very unpredictable competition, but I think if we're looking at unpredictability and we're making a prediction, in my opinion at least, the psych sheet's the way to go. I know Will took a different approach, but that's really fine. In third, I have Daniel Karnak. His averages haven't really like stacked up to what you think they would, but they're also like on the verge of like BPA and stuff like that. So that's why I chose Daniel. Second, I have Max Xiao. Max Xiao is, he's world record holder multiple times, and I just think in terms of experience, he really plays that game, because in NAC you're really looking for experience too. So I'd put Max in second, and then I have Dylan in first. He really deserves something really good. I think
He does.
He's been working a really long time. I know when he usually uploads something, he encounters it as like, or rewards it as a fail or stuff like that. But I think the best way to go for him is to really shoot for this NAC win. I think it could really boost his confidence in getting the world record, and yeah, that's my prediction. So what do you want as your final Clicky Studios prediction? Whose podium do we choose? Do we combine the podiums?
Yeah, I'm really not sure. I think a lot of these top solvers struggle to find consistency with square one throughout a lot of competitions. Like, I haven't really been seeing people get 5 averages, like sub 6 averages every single comp in recent history, and that's why we're struggling with like the top 5 on the psych sheet, trying to place them. But I think I actually do like Daniel in third.
Samir is really good.
I can definitely get behind Dylan winning, because I can't remember exactly what it was, but I saw some videos of him that he just like plus, what was it? Extras or plus 2?
It was like extras,
like
DNF, stuff like that.
A
A lot of unlucky stuff, to be honest.
Yeah.
Alright, so our final podium is Daniel Karnak, Max Xiao, and Dylan Bombach. Anyway, Skewb.
What, you don't have me as your first place?
I mean, yeah, Will Clower, first place. Okay, that's the end of the video. Will Clower's winning every event today. And yeah, that's that on that. Just kidding. That's stupid to predict.
I am nowhere near podium potential, and a lot of people are not. But I think it's pretty cut and dry who makes podium. It's just a matter of which order they come in. I actually want to do yours first.
Ooh. Okay. I'm gonna go with. This is gonna be a really controversial one, but Zayn Kanani places third. I don't necessarily think that ever since I think Yiheng got the world record, or I should say, ever since June 2024, I don't think Zayn has really performed that well. It's just that I think other people are a little more convincing to me, so Zayn's gonna be at third. He does have a lot of experience, so he's on the podium, but Carter also has that same class, and I put them at second. I just find that their profile just seems to be a little bit more consistent. They're also the world record holders for each event, or each single and average, I should say, excuse me. And in first place, I have Dominic Radici. Dom in first place. It's a very bold prediction, but you need that boldness at a competition like this. And if I know cubing is very high pressure, I know cubing you need to be consistent, but if there's gonna be one person that's gonna like blast out onto the scene, it's gonna be Dom at NAC, in my opinion.
I like your three because those are my three, and I think those are the only ones that are really going to make podiums. And that's because I know Braden and Simon and Ash and such would, or at least Braden and Ash would really love to have a shot at podium. I think it's a little far considering their recent official results. Well, I don't know, but I think I've heard Simon hasn't really kept up with practice, at least for NAC, and the focus for him is not on Skewb necessarily. I also have Carter, Zayn, and Dominic, but I do have them in a different order. Third, I have Dominic, and I will explain. He's an amazing solver, and he's impressed me since he's been on the Skewb scene, and he's really locked in recently with a lot of mid to high one averages. The lack of a good majors result. I think he did well North American Championship 2022. I cannot remember his nationals result, but there is a lack of a podium, and I know his competition nerves definitely get to him in his videos. He's definitely getting a lot better, but I think it's the experience that's really going to count in this finals, at least, just because of how competitive it is between these top three. And then at number 2, I have Zayn Kanai. I love him to win, but I have the exact same thoughts as you do about this, that he has been a lot more focused on 2x2. He has gotten notable averages at Pennsylvania and New Jersey, a 1.7 and a 1.6 average, I believe, in some of those rounds. So he's definitely still got the speed, of course, and I think he is still going to be prepping Skewb for North American Championships alongside 2x2, seeing as they're his world record events at the very least, if not Skewb still being a main event for him. The fact that at last NEC he got double world record and world record average in the final round.
Yeah,
I think he has the potential to really lock in when it matters most in those finals. For number 1, I have Carter Kukala. They are just unbelievable. My one of my favorite Skewbers. Their results as of late have been very impressive. I know the last couple competitions haven't been great, especially more in the beginning of the year. It was looking very nice, and the world record average, of course, is incredibly impressive, especially for scrambles where they aren't very cutthroat. Since Zayn is most likely looking elsewhere, and Dominic is still, I think, how do I word this? Maybe lacking in the top spot for finals.
I think your prediction is a little bit more realistic, so I think you should go with yours. But your final Clicky Studios prediction is going to be Dom at third place, Zayn in second, and Carter Kukala in first.
I will say I am definitely most interested in seeing what Dom gets. Like if I make finals, you can bet that's the first person I'm going to ask how he did. He
No.
is the underdog going in, and I like that story.
Pyraminx.
I actually really like my podium placement, even though it's not exactly Psych Sheet. So in third, I have Elijah Wood. I really like the Pyraminx results I've been seeing from Elijah, and of course, there hasn't been a whole lot of major finals, like podium, as far as I know, if any. There are a lot of sub-2 averages recently, so I think those things sort of counter out each other. And in Pyraminx finals especially, you can see a lot of people choke. We've seen it at Nationals, we've seen it at North American Championships 2022. We see it at Worlds. A lot of the top solvers that we expect to do well end up just making mistakes here and there, because we all do. I think that will happen for a few of the solvers, and Elijah will end up at the right place and right time to secure a third place. This one is a personal favorite placement, because I really, really hope he at least gets on the podium. Michael, I've been keeping with him since the start, and of course Nationals 2023 was amazing for him, and if he can carry that over, that'd be, I think, really special for him. But I do think ultimately Simon Callum will come in number one. I do not have Ezra on my podium. I think it will unfortunately be a similar Nationals 2023, and I don't think he's quite had the results in recent competitions, at least this year. I don't think he's had a whole lot. Simon, if his focus is Pyraminx going into this competition, I think he will pretty, not easily, but I think it'll be a clean average. I can put it that way. I think it'll be consistent. I think it'll be locked in.
For me, Pyraminx, we both have Elijah Brown at third. I just think that his performances have been really good recently. I have Michael not in second. I have him in first, actually. I believe in the three-peat. He's just been, I think, a great solver. I'm not really sure how Simon's been doing. Honestly, obviously official results don't really tell you that much of a story. But in terms of like my perspective, they tell a large part of it, but they don't tell everything. I just don't really see too much of it in Simon's results. This is a bit of a curveball, but I have Kyle Mead in second. I believe in the DMV.
Ooh.
I have Kyle Mead in second because
I actually hope in that too.
It's a bit of a curveball, I understand. He is such a calm solver. I think that's really what you need in such a big event like this. He has the experience. He has, like, I believe he had the NAR before, if I'm not mistaken. That's who I have in second.
I actually do want to change my podium to that. I do like that.
So we're gonna do my podium as the official Clicky Studios prediction.
DMD.
Yeah, so Elijah Brown is gonna be in third, Kyle Mead's gonna be in second, and Michael Nielsen is gonna take the three-peat home at AC 2022, Nationals 23, and hopefully at AC 24. Now we have Megaminx up. So the big debate with Megaminx is really just gonna be between, of course, Nicholas Nang and Alexis and Yavin. That is really just a coin toss. But third place is maybe a little bit more contested. But I'm still going to go for Youngmin. I think he's just been a very good solver, very consistent. And yeah, I don't really think... I think a lot of people could get to that spot, but I just chose him specifically for those reasons. I have Alexi in first and Nicholas Nang in second, because Alexi has a bit more of the curve, because he did get that NAR recently, but that's just one result. That's not... NAC is also just one result, but it's really just an accumulation of how well you've been doing, like, just in general. I think Alexi is a great solver. He's a great person. I know him, but that's not why I put him on there. I put him on there just because his official results have been very convincing to me. I think with Nicholas Nang, his priority is Megaminx. Like, if you've seen his site, if you've seen his like profile, I'm pretty sure he's only signed up for Megaminx for this NAC, which is really, really weird. That could play into his favor, but that could also be a bit of a disadvantage to him. Maybe if he over practices, or maybe he's not getting the right type of warm up. Yeah, so those were my reasons, mostly consistency and how Alexi's also maybe working with other events too, which could possibly warm him up and necessarily take the edge off, like just focusing solely on Megaminx, which could make him less nervous in an event where you need to be as calm as possible.
So I actually also played the psych sheet game for 3rd place, and I put Kyungmin Choi because I like a lot of the low 30 averages that I see out of him. And you're right, we do have a couple more solvers that have that sort of consistent area, but I think it's just very much in Kyungmin's favor. Of course, the big question is the top 2. I also have exactly what you put, actually. Love the dedication out of Nicholas, of course, who doesn't, and his turning is absolutely, amazing and smooth and everything. But Alexi does have quite a few more sub 30 averages in recent memory, and like you said, I think the versatility in events will actually come in as an aid. It's, in most cases, it helps to be more well-rounded. It feels wrong calling him Nicholas a one-trick, just because that feels like a degrading term, but in the best way possible, he is the Megaminx. So is. I definitely think I don't see him anywhere outside of top 2.
Yeah, so our official podium prediction is going to be Kyungmin in 3rd, Nicholas in 2nd, and Alexi is going to take 1st, the Nar holder. So let's go on to clock. Yikes. This is a little bit tricky. So I guess do you want me to go first?
I can go first. I have a crazy prediction.
I'm really scared to hear it, to be honest. So let's hear it. Come on.
Are you sure?
I'm gonna hear it eventually. So I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah, sure.
All right, hear me out. I'm gonna say it and then explain. So I have 3rd place Carter Williams,
you
2nd place Cal Mead,
okay,
3rd place or 1st place Volodymyr Kapustyansky.
Yeah, who's your 2nd place?
Kyle Mead.
Kyle Mead in 2nd place. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll explain mine. You really
I just made the entire clock community kill me at North American Championships, but
I made you kill you at
I'll go
North
ahead
American
and,
Champs.
Should I explain?
Explain. Yeah, please. I am really, really interested in hearing your argument. Yeah.
Alright, so clock, I think this past competition that I was at, Bethesda, just not only that competition, but it really just made me realize how consistent a lot of the top clock results can be. And so many top people DNF'd at that competition. That finals was really just kind of cut and dry who was going to be in what spot at the top. And even though that's a local competition, I think that speaks for the event pretty well, especially when I see it at other competitions. Clock is also the event that requires the most accuracy, I would say, and really, really hard when you have nerves to turn accurately and correctly and all that. And this is stuff that has been said by a lot of people in the Cuban community. But I ultimately think that something like this is going to happen for a lot of the top solvers, and even ones that do not outright, enough average or 5-4 second average will be on the higher end of the 3 second range or the lower end of the 4 second range. I think Volodymyr is a heavy favorite for the win. I think that's pretty easy to say for a lot of people. I don't like Tommy Cherry for podium. Call me crazy, but that's just how I feel about it. I think the sort of 3 to 6th place range just might be a little unlucky in finals. And I think Kyle and you are just outside of that range of really, really being stuck in their heads of like, I have a very, very, no offense, but like, I feel like those people maybe are thinking more that they have a very serious chance of podium or even looking beyond to like second place. I think just outside of that range, it's where it's going to be, because maybe you and Kyle are going to be not as nervous as them per se, and not as mentally messing yourselves up.
Right.
And I think it could happen.
That's a really interesting prediction. I like the logic. I don't necessarily agree with the people. I agree with Voldemir at first. I think that's a very easy prediction to make. I tried to create a very realistic clock prediction, but then I realized I'm just playing the psych sheet game, and I'll tell you why. So I have Reed in third place, mainly because Reed, it's between first, second, and third in my opinion, Reed and Tommy. You get different types of solvers from both of them. So Reed is technically, I think he transitioned from a flip solver to a 7 solver very recently, but Reed is such a good solver, and when it falls in his favor, he can take advantage of it, and he can take advantage of it very well. Even if he maybe quote unquote messes up, it's usually not as bad or as catastrophic as a DNF or anything that's slightly slower. So I have Reed versus Tommy right now. And the thing with Tommy Cherry is you have to really consider he is an all-rounder. So clock is not going to be the main priority. He might be the only competitor other than Brendan in this clock final that has a realistic chance of podiuming that prioritizes something else. Which would obviously be something like free blind or something like that. Or at least prioritizes it significantly to where it can take away from clock. You can make that argument for me with Mega too, but that's not really the same thing. He is defending his nationals title now. If you see his results, yes, they are maybe a little bit deceiving. He hasn't really been achieving those heights, as you say, or as you would expect from someone like Tommy Cherry, but he is very experienced. And that's really what you need in clock. You really need experience. And you have to also consider that solving in a local competition is different than solving in a national competition. A local competition, more people are more likely to go all out because they want to get continental records, national records, world records. Unfortunately, it is clock though, so most of the time they do end up getting bad averages, maybe not exactly the average they wanted, or even DNFs. For a continental championship, there is always going to be a first, second, and third. There is always going to be a podium. So there's going to be one half that tries to safety because they know they are capable, and there's going to be another half that go all out. This safety half, they can safety too much to the point where someone from the other half, if, for example, Brendan Dunnigan in third place, last nationals, goes all out and then takes the podium. So my final prediction, with all that being said, is just the psych sheet, because that's the most consistent result you could really use. It's going to be Vladimir in first, Tommy in second, Reed in third. That was a long explanation.
See, ladies and gentlemen, you go with Carter's podium if you want to have a boring but realistic round. You go with mine if you want to have fun.
I mean, also,
if you want to have the most interesting clock round in history, you go with mine.
Do you truly want my opinion on how I think I can do? Because I'm gonna try to limit myself to be as brief as possible. I mean, I guess I can explain myself. Would you like to hear that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Like, contrary to what you think, I can't say it out loud, but like, I think I have a shot.
Dude, from the perspective of someone who doesn't do clock, I think anyone with a sub 4 official for this comp has a shot.
Right.
Whether it's a short shot or a long shot, though, that's the
question. I think podium is a very achievable goal for me. Vladimir is a very good solver, but there are times where if he messes up once, it could be game over for him. We've seen it before in different respects. So I think Vladimir's win is pretty much locked in, but it's not as locked in as we think it is. And in the case that it is not locked in, anyone can get that win. And if that is the case, which is probably a 10% chance I would give it. I think within that 10% chance, I would have a 10% chance of winning. So it's really a 1% chance in total. But I think I have a chance.
That's crazy.
I think I have a chance.
Dude, I have a 1% chance of winning Skewb. I think your chances are a little better than 1.
I don't... The best person that can judge that for that is probably me. And I have the true sentiment of, if I believe in myself, do I get this, or do I just really disappoint myself? So that's a debate I'm still having. I'll have like 11 days at the time of recording to decide. Actually, a week from now, 2 weeks from now, I will either be crying in my hotel room, I will either not care at all and book another flight home, or I will be holding a trophy of some sort. And out of the 3, it's probably going to be the flight home. So, yeah. Alright. What's our podium? We went on a rant a little bit.
How would we even combine ours, man?
Alright, yeah. So we're just gonna go with my podium because Will is such a terrible
I know very little about these people.
So I'm gonna go with Reed W. Richardson, Tommy Cherry, and Vladimir as our podium. So now we're gonna move on to multi-blind. I think this one, for the big blind stuff and the blind events, we don't really need too much discussion because I think a lot of it's kind of up to chance, or it's locked in.
Yeah.
So for multi-blind, I guess I'll just say mine first. Third place is probably the one that's maybe slightly up for grabs, but I think I'm gonna just choose Stanley Chappell. In second place, I have Graham Siggins, actually. I tried to maybe spice up a little bit with my multi-blind predictions, but I have Graham in second and Roe in first. I think Roe has a very good shot. And if it's an event like blind where you need so much concentration and it's so much mental pressure, it can sometimes be up to chance if it gets a little bit too hot. So I'm going with Roe on this one.
My podium is very similar. I actually don't know if any of these heroes have decided on or even made it public how many cubes are going to be doing at North American Championships. The cube amount will definitely at least make a statement there for third place. I do have Elliot over Stanley, actually, because from what I've seen, I think Stanley is maybe putting a little bit more focus on 4 blind. I don't know if that's wrong, but 4 blind, 5 blind might be more his focus than multi and normal and just straight up 3 blind. So I am going to put Elliot over Stanley for now. I also have Graham in second and Roe in first because Roe's recent results and his, journey with multi-blind, so to speak, is really picking up the pace.
So we have Elliot in third, Graham in second, and in first place we're gonna have Roe Hessler. 5 blind. I think this one's really easy, to be honest. Do you want me to just list it out?
I think so too.
Third place I have Graham.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't really need too much explanation on these. If you just look at the official results yourself, I think they say a lot of things about it, but Graham in third, Elliot in second, Stanley in first. Do you have any objections to that? Same. Yeah, they are really far ahead. We don't really do big blind. It would be very ill-advised of us to make any crazy predictions, so except maybe the row thing was a little bit of a crazy prediction, but I wouldn't say it is too much, but it really depends. So 5 blind, it's going to be Graham, Elliot, and Stanley. 4 blind. This one I think is a little bit more interesting. I'll go top down first. I'm going to go with Stanley in first, Elliot in second, and then it's between Tommy and Cheggins, and I'm going to go with Tommy. Simply because of home advantage. And also, I think his results are a little bit more consistent. It's
not exactly what I had. I can definitely see it as, happening. But I instead have Graham in third, Tommy in second, and Stanley in first.
Really?
I don't know how crazy that is, but I think Tommy, Elliot, Graham and Charlie Eggins' singles are all within like 3 seconds, 2 seconds of each other. I think it's pretty close there.
I would go with yours. I think yours is maybe slightly more realistic. So I have Graham in third, Tommy in second, Stanley in first. All right, let's go with FMC now. This one
is a hard one to do.
It's really just, it's not where you can look at the official results. It's just, I mean, you can. It's just who has the better mindset, because this is really just like a test. We're basically predicting what they're gonna get on the SATs by looking at their past SAT scores. So,
yeah.
I'm gonna read out mine. Simply based off of official results. Daniel Karnock third, Kale Shun second, he has a lot of experience, and Kyungmin in first.
Okay, that is interesting, and that is different from mine. So in third place for me, I have Levi. I didn't interview them, but I think they have probably a more motivated mindset after getting the world record to also get this title. So I don't think they're going to quite get first. But in the second, I actually have Kyungmin, and in first I have Kale.
I don't know if I mean, I agree with Levi. I think it'd be nice to put him on there, because Levi obviously is coming off a world record, but it's also not necessarily something they're expecting, which tells me they aren't really practicing it too much. But with that in mind, it's really just if you get lucky and if you find it. And in that case, Levi, I think they're a very smart solver to find the 16. First of all, it wasn't intuitive. It was impressive. So I'm gonna go. I'll combine your prediction with mine. I'll put Levi in third actually, but I think I still like my first and second placement. So we have Levi in third, Kale in second, and Kyungmin in first. Almost there.
Okay.
Free blind.
Okay, oh boy. I have Charlie Eggins in third, and Elliot in second, and Tommy in first. I think I like the fact that Tommy is, home advantage doesn't really sound like a thing in cubing, but I think it definitely is. I think there's a chance for jet lag. I think that's something that I think cubers are actually pretty good about dealing with, but which is why I also have Elliot in second.
I have Elliot in third, and this one's a bit of a curveball, but Tommy Cherry in second, Charlie Eggins in first. I do kind of agree with you that home turf is a thing. It's not really maybe as important as it is in something like a sports game. I just think that Charlie, with being such a young cuber, he'll have more chances after this, obviously, but if he wants to put himself out there, you need to do well at big competitions, and I think he is at this moment poised to be that. Tommy is obviously the old reliable. He dominates blind pretty much wherever we go. We can't really take him out of the conversation at all. But I'll give Chiggins a shot. I
also think that the argument for him not being first works just very well, because, like you said, being that young of a cuber, and also what I said, just being very far from like home, and just not maybe feeling comfortable with where you are. I think I heard from one or two people they didn't do well at Worlds in Korea just because they didn't really feel comfortable. Let's combine. Let's do Tommy, Charlie, Elliot.
Tommy, Charlie, and Elliot. That makes sense.
I think that might be the psyche.
Let's go quickly for the big cubes, because I don't think there's too much to discuss here. 7x7. Max Park, Nam, Timon.
My first, second, third is Nam, Max, Timon.
I don't think Nam's better than Max in 7x7. Maybe 6x6.
Better, maybe not. But
and if you're using your home turf argument, I'm gonna use it against you now and say that Max Park is on the home turf. So
okay, we can do that. But I do really like recent Nam ASR. But it definitely is still not very close.
I also did see he did get, I think, like something really insane in 7x7, like unofficially. Our final podium should be Timon, Nam, Max, 6x6.
Yeah, 'cause it's funny. I actually have it the opposite of 7x7, even though most people would have it the other way around. But yes, I actually have Max winning 6x, Nam second, Timon third.
That's crazy because I have the same exact thing. So.
Well, there you go. It's gonna happen then. It's bound to happen.
If two great minds think alike.
You know, Nam does have world record, but also Max has perhaps a little bit more potential to push just the world records even faster in the first rounds of the day, maybe.
All right, so the final podium: Timon, Nam, Max, same exact one as 7x7. So 5x5. I think you might have a bit of a crazier one, but I'm gonna go with mine first.
I have a different name. Yeah. Go ahead. I
have Nam in third, Timon in second, and Max in first. I know who you think is going to be third.
I am going to have Timon in third.
You're going to have Timon in third.
I'm going to have Maddie Hirota Inaba in second, and I'm going to have Max Bork in first.
Whoa. Okay, that's a little crazy. I would put Maddie in third.
I think
second?
I don't know. I think there's a really good chance that Maddie just has a killer day and gets like a 40-39 average, and Timon and Nam are just not doing too great. I want to put on the podium, so I'm fine with him being third.
I'll put him in third. I'll put Timon in second and Max in first. So Max takes home all the big cubes. 4x4. The story is getting very old. I have Maddie in third. I have Max in second.
Oh, okay.
And Timon in first.
Yeah, that's just not what I have. I have Max in first, and I think quite comfortably, especially I still can't wrap my head around his recent world record single, and just seeing that sort of speed in 4x4 is just crazy to me. Even if it's just one solve, I think it could speak to an entire finals in a championship. I think he's just a lot further ahead. I have Timon in second, and put my underdog in there at Ari at third. He's gonna lock in. This is the one. This is the time. He's gonna get third.
I will combine our podiums. I will use your podium, to be honest. So we have Ari in third, Timon in second, Max in first. OH. This one is a little insane, in my opinion. Very similar to Clock. I think Max Park has it in the bag for first place. I think Luke Garrett can very comfortably get second. And then the question is, who gets third? I haven't counted, but I think there's at least 7 or 8 people that could get third. And it's very, very insane. All of them, I think, have a very, very similar shot. Some of them more than others, but more in general, if you were to average it, they all have a very good shot. I think it's like up to 11th place, I think, on the psych sheet. They all have a decent chance. For the third place spot, it's really you just choose one. And I'm going to choose Ray Bai as my third place. I think out of all of them, he has the most consistent ones.
That's not what I had at all. But I actually have a different second place. I don't know what it is, but I kind of just want Maddie to have a good competition.
That's true.
So
that's true.
I'm gonna have Max at first,
Maddie in there. Yeah.
Maddie at second, and Luke at third.
I think that's very reasonable.
I want Maddie to have a good competition.
I would probably combine those to be more realistic. So we're gonna combine our podiums.
Okay.
We'll have Maddie in third.
That would be really special.
That would be really special.
I think it'd be really special if Ray Bai or Sean Mack.
That would be really special. I think that would be really unexpected. But it's very doable for the both of them. I'm gonna go with Maddie for third. I'm gonna go with Luke for second, and Max for first. 2x2.
All right.
Yihang's not going. I think that puts Zane in first.
Yeah.
That really puts Zane in first really easily. Otherwise, it would have been a really big question, to be honest. But if Yihang's not going, then I think Zane's in first. Luke is second.
I think so too.
And Sujin is third. It's just based on the psych sheet.
I feel like you're gonna have a hard time predicting my third place. I'm gonna go with Brennan Lin
Whoa.
in third with like a
Okay.
1-3 average. Yeah. And then Luke in second and Zane in first. I think it's pretty locked in for Zane. He literally just uploaded another sub 1 official average, so, like as we're recording.
I will say that Zane did not really do that well at Pennsylvania Championship, which was the rounds after that was after a really good average happened that was better than his PR average, let's just say that. After that, he didn't really do so well, which really did scare me a little bit, but I think he recovered at Bethesda, and that's proof enough, to be honest, because I think his priorities could be more on 2x2 rather than Skewb. I would want to stick with my prediction for the combined podium, but if you have any objections...
I just think third place is very, very up for grabs among the top, like, 20 people.
So we have Sujin, Luke, and Zane. Alright, 3x3. Let's list out our top 16 from 16 to 1.
And this is, just to clarify, this is where we think they will place in finals, not going into finals.
In finals, right? Yes. So, in 16th, I have Caleb Chen. I think he'll do better in the semifinal, but I think in a final, I'm not sure if he has too much to prove. And I hate always having to choose someone in last place, but if I had to choose, that's who I would choose for no particular reason necessarily. So, but he still would make the final though, I think pretty easily.
In my 16th, I actually have Brendan Dunnigan because I think he'll clinch the finals, but not look for any more. Then I think he'll be pretty satisfied with being there and in the moment, and it might end up resulting in like a 7 average or something even higher, since it's the pressure of a North American Championships final. So could be even an 8 average or something. But I think he'll be happy to be there if he makes finals.
That's really funny because in my 15th place, I have Brendan Dunnigan. The reason I put him a place higher than Caleb was because I think Brendan is a little more... I think he could get a little more fluky. I think he's been grinding 3x3 a little bit. Brendan, I would say, has something to prove because this could be his first 3x3 final after missing out last time.
So I want to say that I also have Brendan above Caleb because I do not have Caleb on my list. I have Dominic in my 15th spot because I think he has mentioned, I could be wrong about this if he's watching, but I think he's mentioned that he's going to go for finals in the Skewb Discord for 3x3. Or it was something about, wanting to do well in 3x3, so.
In 14th, I have Christopher Sun. He will do well, he'll try to make finals. I think he'll try to go further. I think he can handle pressure well. It's just that I think there's just so many good solvers on there, and maybe this is the one time he folds. I think this would be his first major final. I don't know if he made Nats finals last year. He was not at NAC 2022, so this would be his first NAC.
In my 14th, I actually have Jerry Yao. Just because he's a solid solver, and I think he'll make finals, but I don't think he'll go very much higher after that.
In my 13th, I have Carson Wijaya. Of course, we recently sponsored him. You can watch that whole video about it. He's really trying to make 3x3 finals, which I think he can very easily do, in my opinion. It's just a matter of fact whether he does really as well, and I don't think he's really aiming for like the PR or the glory. I think he's gonna try to go for sub 6. He's probably gonna try to go for sub 6 in all the rounds of NAC. I don't really see him too much higher. Of course, I would love to see him higher, as high as possible, obviously, on the ranking. Other than that, I think it's a realistic prediction.
But I have Samir at my 13th spot, just because I feel like he's just another one of those really solid 3x3 solvers that will make finals, but it's always one of those placements that, people will see, be entered in, but not give too much thought to.
In 12th, I have Brendan Lin. Not much explanation, probably the same reasons as Samir, obviously. He is a very good solver. I think he's from Canada. And, he's going to be He's going to be a decent solver, but I don't really see him getting too much farther.
I think my 12th is Carson. Pretty much just similar reason as you. I just thought that 12th might be even maybe a little bit more realistic, considering how many times he's been able to clutch out really good averages, winning averages in, semi-large finals, like state championship finals, a lot of those. So I think he could carry that over to North American champs and finish.
In my 11th, I have Asher. I just haven't really been keeping up with him and his averages, but these people have a chance to really prove themselves. But now I think we're just a little bit behind that. I think it happens more in the single digits to where like we can see people really pop off. But for now, I'm gonna put Asher in the 11th. I think he's just behind that, but of course he has potential to do very well. He could do below this. He could not make finals, which is I would not predict.
I do not have Asher on my list actually, but in my 11th I have Christopher Sun, just because he's just one of those solvers, and I think he'll be able to put out a decent average in the finals, but nothing too crazy, nothing too special.
10th, I have Ben Zhao. I met him before at Naperville. I think he is an amazing 3x3 solver, but I think he's just behind to where we get to like absolutely like mind-blowing and like on a very, very good day has like a chance at like NAC podium. Like if the world like somehow goes a little wrong, then they have a chance. Respect to them, but I would not be able to picture it. Ben Zhao is like just behind that, unfortunately, and that's why he is in 10th for me. He's a very good solver though, and he will make finals very easily, in my opinion.
In my 10th, I have Brennan Lin, pretty much for the same reasons as your placement as for Brennan Lin, which is funny, but I just think he's just a really solid solver, and I think he's just a little bit faster, and he's been in these sort of finals before, so I think he'll perhaps maybe have more experience going into a finals like this, and we'll probably figure out how to handle the nerves in this situation a little bit better than previously. I think 10th is fair and respectable.
In my 9th place, I have Luke Gracer. This is the point to where we get maybe he could do it, but I'm not so sure.
He has to remember his
Luke,
what was it, his EVLO?
As much as I love that moment, I think for him as a cuber, it is a little, I mean, I know the point of like nationals is to have fun. That moment is really gonna be on everyone's mind if he makes finals, which is very likely. And I don't know if that plays as a disadvantage to him. I don't know if that gives him any fan advantage, in my opinion. I watched some of the streams. I've seen some of the competition streams from Luke. His solving, it's a little bit to the point where anything could happen, I would say. He's not very consistent. There's a lot of solvers in this final, but specifically for Luke, I think he would do okay, but okay would probably mean 9th, in my opinion.
Yeah, so I actually have him at the same spot, and for pretty much the same reasons. We can actually probably just go into the next. I think he'll be solid, and I think it'll be a respectable finish, but maybe not exactly what he's looking for. He's definitely one of those solvers that if he wants to, he can look to go for more. But
8th for me is going to be Max Xiao. I think he is a very good 3x3 solver, but I can't really see him get any farther. As much as I love Max, he's always been that competitor in finals where it's like, I want to see him do good, but I wouldn't put him on a podium prediction, to be honest. So Max is going to be on 8th for me.
My 8th is actually Dylan Miller. I think he's going to be, he'll definitely have potential to get a lot higher, but he's also, in comparison to everyone else on my list, this is just kind of where he fits best. I don't see him as the best of the best, top of the line, podium and all, but I think he's definitely a finalist, and he's definitely in the middle of the pack, and he can definitely fight for more if he is practicing for it.
That's really funny because in my 7th, I have Dylan Miller. For slightly different reasons. I think now we're starting to get to the point where 6th through 1st really has a shot at podium. Well, obviously 1st, 2nd, 3rd, but 4, 5, 6 really has a shot at podium. I think Dylan has a shot. I don't think he has the best shot, which is very fair to say, I would say, in my opinion. And I think 7 is a very respectable position. Of course, it would be amazing to see him go through. I think he's just right on the cusps of maybe not necessarily in everyone's mind, but in my mind, I think Dylan does have a good chance.
I think my 7th place might be a little bit of a surprise for being this high, but also he's had an even better performance in recent major memory, and that's Kyle Santucci. I think he's going to find himself in this finals again, and I think he's going to be another solid performance, but not something that's necessarily podium worthy. I think the field has just gotten a little bit more competitive, and we have Timon here this year, we have Nam here this year, so.
That's really funny because I have Kyle Santucci in 6.
Oh my gosh.
This is gonna be insane if the rest of the video is just that's really funny. I have this cuber in this position. But my reason is I can't really see Kyle on the podium. I mean I can, but not as good of a chance as it was last year. I think the field has just gotten so much more competitive since last time around. To the point where the pressure, I think actually less people are gonna be there, but I feel like it's gonna be more hyped. Hopefully more people are watching online, but I think Kyle at 6th is a very respectable position.
Well, it's funny you put Max Shaw at 8th because I put him in 6th. I think he is going to do a little bit of a pop off and get right up there with the big dogs, but yeah, I can't see him very much further than 6th, but I think he's going to have a good finals. I think it's going to be exciting.
In 5th, I have Nam. Nam is a very, very skilled competitor. I think Nam can definitely pull off something good. He could pull off a podium, but I think it's just out of reach for him. But he's in a good spot. I see you smiling, Will. I'm a little scared.
Well, it's funny you have Nam in 5th because I also have Nam in 5th. For pretty much the same reason. I think he's definitely got a chance if, 1 or 2 people mess up. I think he's definitely able to look for that 3rd spot. But we'll see. He's a really solid solver, and he's had a lot of experience in Worlds, Nationals, Finals, just everything in the entire cubing history. So I think he'll do well. But I think I like my top 4.
4th place. This is where we get started really heated. I have Matty Kuroto Inaba. I think he could do very well. I think he actually has been doing very well. It's just that I think it's not necessarily he is not going to do very well in NAC 2024. I think it's just that other people will do better. So in that case, I have Matty in 4th place.
Well, it's funny.
God, I hate you. This bit's getting really old. I had this bit for like
in 4th place because I also have Matty Hiroto in my 4th place.
All right, the podium's gonna be the same thing anyway. So let's just can we just axe this?
No,
bit?
It's not. No, it's not.
Okay.
We do not have the same top 3, guarantee. But yeah, I like Matty for 4th. I think he's going to have a good comp, like I said earlier, but I think the top 3 is just not quite in a league of their own per se, but I think they're just the top 3. I think this sheet doesn't exactly lie here. Not in terms of placements, but for those top 3, I think this sheet.
In 3rd place, I have Max Park. We've seen him do very well in Worlds. He was very, very close to not getting the win.
Yeah.
But he pulled through. NAC 2022, he wasn't there. US Nats, obviously, he won that pretty, I wouldn't say comfortably, but I think he won it pretty well from what I remember. Yeah, but I think two keepers are just slightly better than Max Park, because Max Park, he can perform, also maybe under pressure. It's starting to get to him a little bit, if we've seen in his previous results. So I'm gonna put Max in third for this one. I do not think Max will.
Well,
I hate you.
It's quite
You don't have to say it.
comical that you have Max Park in your third place. Because I have the exact
Max
same
Park
thing.
in third place. Yeah, we get it, Will. Okay, you're fired. So let's just leave the VC right now.
No, this is your own fault. This is your own fault. You created this entire bit. You created this entire video, and you could just copy my placements, guaranteed.
I could have just messaged you, like, Will, it would be really funny if we just had the same podium all the way through, because no, we didn't do
There's no way that are like top 6, no, top 5.
Are the
Like,
exact
I don't
same.
understand how this is happening. Don't really know what to say. Yeah, I think he has way too much pressure on him from a lot of the younger community per se. It's obviously nice to have fans, but not when they are always yelling at you to get sub 4 average. So
Yeah.
we'll see. But I think I am going to put him at third.
Luke Garrett, I'm going to put as my second place. If we really look at it, yes, Max on paper has the better deal, the better, more consistent performances. But I think Max maybe folds a little bit here. I want people to do well. When we really consider the pressures of just one round, we're not considering the cumulative results, we're considering one round. I think Max Park is not necessarily, he's probably the favorite, but I would predict Luke Garrett.
I knew we had different lists because I have Timon Kolashinsky in second.
Wow.
I think I think Timon is the smartest 3x3 solver going to this competition, but that has to come with execution, and we've seen it a lot. We've seen it a lot where he is just always at the top of his game, and really just making the cube look like a children's square and whole peg puzzle toy. Just insane the way he thinks about the cube and everything. So I think top 2 is, I want to say, guaranteed, but I am going to put in second simply for the fact that I think my first place will just have the round of his life.
I am a little bit more realistic. I put Timon in first place. He is going to be my winner, so Luke Garrett's going to be my NAC champion. I think with Timon, he is a very smart solver, but at this point, I think he's been through the pressure. Luke Garrett, I think he can handle pressure well, but not as well as Timon. And when we're considering Timon, when we're considering how he's been treated, he's an older cuber. He's, I think he does cubing full time. I just think that Timon is undoubtedly really, really good.
You know what my first place is? It's Luke Garrett's Luke G, Luke the top G, the GOAT. I think he's going to have probably the happiest round of his life, I hope. And I just think he's one of those solvers that can just turn up when you least expect it, I guess, in quite literally any event, but especially in 3x3. And I think he can carry his I don't know how to word this, his energy. Like he has just very good vibes, he
Just as a
looks like
person,
having fun.
yeah.
Say that will actually help him out. If he'll take it seriously, obviously, but I think he will be able to have more fun with it, and I think that could also really help him with his mentality. And I just think he'll lock in. My thing is, like, also a lot of people will love a Timon win. I think that's pretty much not contestable, but I think everyone would love a Luke Garrett win because he's,
Yeah.
I don't know, he's just the guy.
So our final podium prediction is going to be Max Park.
We can do Max Luke.
Max,
Max,
Luke,
Timon.
and Timon. Will, any other crazy predictions about incidents that would appear in a delegate report?
Incidents that would appear in a delegate report. 2x2 finalists caught sledding.
So that's gonna end our prediction
no.
video. Any last words? This is not really reflective. We're not very good people to maybe trust, but I think with NAC, you can't really trust anyone. It's anyone's game. With cubing, it is an individual sport, so it is not to the point where with like teams where you can there's a group of people that you can predict on. When it's one person is carrying a lot of weight. Personally, I want to win clock. Am I gonna win clock? I don't know. So it's very very individual based. I'm very excited for NAC. Clicky Studios, we're gonna do some work before NAC. You'll see what that's all about in the weeks following NAC. But we're also going to be announcing something very interesting at NAC. So look out for us, the Clicky Studios team, to see what that announcement is. Thank you guys for watching. If you disagree with our predictions, you're wrong. So that's it. Will, any other final words?
Yes. If you were mentioned in the video as a prediction, I just want to say we're rooting for you. And of course, if all of you are watching this, that's not true. But just keep it in your head that we're rooting for you because you're cool and fast and faster than us. So,
and
there you go.
Anyone we did not mention, we are still rooting for you. We just think that I am going to win clock.
Everyone,
no, everyone who we didn't mention, you still have a shot. You absolutely still have a shot, and you should still keep going. We are just guys on the internet talking. Do not listen to us if you were not mentioned on this list. If you were mentioned on this list, keep it in your head. Don't spread it out. Keep it in your head. Keep it in your confidence. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you at NAC 2024 1 week from now.